and a launch. Greg Shockley is here from Le Creuset. It's good to have you back, sir.
Thanks, David.
And congrats, I understand your son got married last weekend.
Just last weekend.
Wow.
I know, unbelievable.
Your one and only.
My one and only, yeah.
One and only child.
Seems like yesterday I was chasing him around in the kitchen.
Now married.
Now he's married.
Wow. Unbelievable. Hey, it's important to know that this is a launch. This is what we call a sauteuse. What is a sauteuse?
So basically, in French terms, it just means fry pan. Okay?
Yeah.
But essentially, it's just it's the shape of it. This might look like your normal Dutch oven, which it is, right? But what it has very sloped sides, so that when, particularly, you know, I'm making a shepherd's pie right here, David. I've ground off my beef, but look, I can get in those corners now because it slopes right down.
Because it's rounded,
it's
right?
It's rounded. I can get right in there. It's easy to do. It's great for soups.
That's a lot of ground beef.
It's a lot of ground beef. Well, hey, you know what? We're not messing around here.
How you doing?
So we're building a shepherd's pie right here. So we're going to saute off our onions, our carrots, and our peas. We're going to add a little bit.
And the key is to make sure everything is cut the same size so it cooks evenly, right?
That's exactly right. And some things are going to cook faster just in general. Carrots might take a little longer.
And carrots may take a little longer because they're thicker, right? They're more dense.
Add a little bit of stock, a little flavorful. So we've got our beef and our lamb, so we're doing a real traditional one.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to put a little bit of stock in there. And then all you're going to simply do, now you can get fancy like we're going to and use our piping bag for our potatoes, or you can just kind of spoon them on, either way.
Now, do the peas go in?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, I almost forgot my peas, David.
Let's get some color in there.
My sous chef.
Around.
Stir that around a little bit.
There it is.
And all we're going to simply do is we're going to do some rows.
And then we're going to pipe the potatoes on top. Oh, look at you, fancy.
I know. Well, you know what? The piping bag really does most of it, but we're going to do a few lines here. I like to leave a little bit of openings in here just so it can breathe, because otherwise it's going to kind of pipe through
a good tip.
the potatoes, and you can always save the extra potatoes on the side.
Oh.
So when you do that.
I mean, who is going to argue with more potatoes?
Right, but the whole idea, David, the properties of the cast iron is the heat retention and heat distribution. Perfect golden brown on all of your beef, all of your all of your vegetables and all of your proteins. Great brownness, great doneness on those, and the caramelization is exactly what you want.
Are you a paprika fan? Do you put
paprika I love paprika, yeah.
Oh, nice. You can do paprika. Now, it's important to know this is a 3.5 quart signature sauteuse. Yes, you can fry in it because it's all made of cast iron. Those potatoes get nice and beautifully browned in the oven. And then all that stew in between. Boy, talk about comfort food. We were talking about it raining yesterday.
No kidding. Super
really lovely.
And look at the gravy. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yummy. All right, now we have colors for you as we so often do in these stories. Now, this is oyster, most popular. Now, what I collect is the cerise. Cerise is the French word for cherry. Now, beside the cherry, we have it for you, and this is a color we very seldom do. This is white. Most limited, fewer than 300, and that doesn't surprise me because Le Creuset doesn't make a lot of white. We can't get our hands on a lot of white. So it's important to know when we have white, if you need it, we've got it. We also have one of our newest colors from Le Creuset. This is called sea salt. Isn't that pretty? It's kind of a teal, gray, lovely. Beside that is artichoke, one of our newest colors from Le Creuset, proudly made in France. It's 1925, coming up on their 100th anniversary. And Marseille, which is named after the southern port city of France. So really made and intended to mimic ocean water. This is lovely. It has that stainless steel knob on the top. So this is oven safe to what temperature?
Up to 500 degrees.
Up to 500 degrees.
So that's going to be
I just did pot roast yesterday, but I cheated a little bit. I used Carol Allen's pot roast in a bag.
Ooh, love that.
And then made a little sauce out of stock and red wine and some fresh mirepoix veg. It was lovely.
Whatever makes your life easier.
And then you squeeze the frozen pot roast into it and then just let it warm. I left it on the stove. Boy, that house smells great.
That sounds, we have something similar to that going on in here. But I think this is talking to me, telling me that we better turn this out. So if you're not accustomed to deep frying at home or wish you could, this is the perfect vessel for it.
And that's fish, yes?
This is sufficient. So we're doing fish and chips. So we've got some French fries over here. This happens to be the Egg Harbor fish that you can get. Perfect for deep frying. Now this comes frozen. So the reason that
let it slide right into that tartar sauce.
The reason this is so great for deep frying is that because cast iron is going to hold on to that heat.
I know.
Literally going to hold on to that heat. When I put frozen food in there, typically the reason you have fry failures, and we'll call them, when they get soggy, that's because you're putting frozen food into a vessel that's maybe have hot oil in it, but the vessel's not prepared for it, and it shocks the oil, makes it cold, and it makes it greasy. Now, the heat retention capabilities of this cast iron keeps this oil nice and hot. Even when I'm putting a bunch of frozen fish in there or fries, it's going to maintain that temperature, allow them to get crispy and sear the outside of those, and they'll stay crispy. They won't be soggy for you.
We have a little animation that shows how the color is achieved, and it's sprayed and then fired on. Yes?
That's right. That's absolutely right. So once it's made in the factory, it gets, it goes through the sanding process, gets polished, then it adds the enamel on the outside, the first enamel coat. Then we put multiple coats on the outside, then the proprietary sand enamel on the interior, which makes it nice, easy release that you're going to get, and that's what you want, and you get that ombre color on each one of these.
Now, in the animation, that has the phenolic handle. These have stainless steel knobs.
Right.
So it's going to be really, really beautiful. Now, ordinarily, this would be $350, and we have it at $150.02 less, but wait, there's more. We also have reduced shipping and handling. It used to be $13.97. It's now $6.97. So with the reduced shipping and handling, you're saving over $157 on this pot. And remember, this is going to be this becomes generational cookware. This becomes cookware you pass down to other members and other cooks in your family that will use it for generations to come. This is remarkable. This company, proudly made in France, still works out of the same small foundry that they started back in 1925.
It's hard to believe we're a year away from a century, that they were the first company to bring colored cast iron, enameled cast iron to the market. And it's the iconic brand. I mean, think about it. It's the original iconic brand. And as you pointed out, passes down from generation to generation. I'm passing mine down to my son, and he asks me all the time for more and more because he does love to cook. But, it really does perform, and that's what you want. So you think about whether you're browning your beef, browning things, the importance of each level that you're cooking with. Le Creuset is going to give that to you. Now, David, talk about versatility as well. I just put out my lasagna right there. Beautiful browning that you're going to get. Not only that, because of that heat retention, it's kind of going to cook from the outside in on the sides as well.
So it's perfect for casseroles.
I love that crispy part of the pasta on the outside.
Maybe very nice for that Corky's ham we have coming up. And here we have served it in the pot on top, or cooked it or warmed it on top of cabbage. So this could be maybe your St. Patty's Day celebration, or if you've got a corned beef brisket and you want to serve it with some cabbage, lovely. You want to bake inside your Le Creuset, we did a round of bread, some rustic bread, gorgeous. And then finally cobbler, which is so beautiful. You can do a bubbling cobbler with a streusel oat topping like we did, and we have colors for you. Let's go through colors again. Now this one over here is called Marseille. It's named after the southern port city of France, that beautiful blue, and it's done in the ombre effect. So it's going to be darker at the edges and lighter as you move in. That's the same on the vessel itself. This is artichoke. Then we have it in sea salt, one of the newest colors from Le Creuset. Then we have it in white. White is something that we almost never do as white. We have fewer than 260 remaining in the white. We also have cerise, which is the French word for cherry. So if any of you have a fondness for the red, as I do, this is the color I collect. And then very popular in this show is the oyster. So if you've got stainless steel appliances, A, I want to be like you, and B, this is going to look great. Leave it out on the stovetop. This is jewelry for your stovetop. This is gorgeous cookware. And I love my Le Creuset pieces. I use them all the time. I used one yesterday to make the pot roast. So this is lovely. Oh, look, you've done beef stew.
This is a little beef stew. So, of course, I mentioned this earlier. This is called a Sauteuse, but really at the end of the day, it's a Dutch oven, okay? You can use it just like all of our other Dutch ovens. It's just got the sloped sides.
Hold that plate real nice and
cast iron lid, fall apart. So we braised this for about 3 hours. Slow braise, got that sear on the beef, caramelized our vegetables, added our stock, added our herbs, lidded this, popped it in the oven for about 2.5 to 3 hours, and you got beautiful melt in your mouth, fall apart beef.
Wow, that was hot. Delicious, but hot.
It was worth it though, right?
Really
no
worth
pain,
it.
no gain, David.
And it was a big bite. I broke my own rule. You're coming back a little later in the show.
Yes.
With this item, and Rachel's going to tell us all about it.